guys, I'm Leila. Today we're in Raid Shadow Legends, and we're continuing on with our what if Star Wars and Raid had a collab? Star Wars X Raid, and what if we end up having some Raid characters and Star Wars characters together, right? Again, continuing on with Star Wars month. So a very highly requested combo to talk about was Yoda and Emperor Palpatine. So that's who we're going to be talking about today. And then we got one more week left for Star Wars month, so stay tuned for next week when we have the last video on this series. Also, I'm thinking this is actually kind of fun. So June, I'm considering to continue something like this with either like Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, or even World of Warcraft kind of came up too as like other fun AI concepts for crossovers with famous, gaming or like pop culture anime kind of stuff with Raid. Okay, anyway, back to Yoda and Palpatine. I would love to know what you guys think about this. So I asked AI, if Yoda was a champion in Raid, would faction would he belong and what would his kit be? And I also said I was kind of specific on making sure it still fits the current game branding and already existing faction. So it says, if Yoda was reimagined as a champion in Raid, he would likely belong to High Elves. And the reasoning is, it fits his wise, ancient, and mystical nature. High Elves are known for their mastery of magic, their deep connection to ancient knowledge, and their righteous goals, which are all very Yoda-like traits. His kit would be designed around support and control, emphasizing wisdom, evasion, and manipulating the battlefield with powerful buffs and debuffs. So they renamed him as Master Yoda. Again, trying to reimagine some of these Star Wars characters with Raid and not exactly keeping identical to the original IP, right? And so they imagined Master Yoda, as a legendary void support high elf. And they gave a little bit of lore here too. So they said that whispers speak of a high elf sage known only as Master Yoda, small in stature, ageless in wisdom, said to have changed generations of warriors in both blade and mind. His insight into the void and the force between has made him a near mythical figure in Arabia. Though battle is not his way, when evil rises, he guides others through clarity, control, and the unseen energy that binds all things. I like that. I think that's a nice little snippet for Master Yoda. So here we go with his skills. All right. So A1, we have Flow of the Force. So attack an enemy with a 50% chance of decreasing turn meter by 20%. And says if the target is under a debuff, increases the chance to 100%. And then does say there's an upgrade, so we're talking about like booking, right? So we can increase the damage and a debuff chance by an additional 10% here. A2 is called Patience, You Must Learn. And this will have a 4-turn cooldown. So places a 50% decrease attack and decrease speed debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Has a 75% chance of placing a stun for 1 turn on enemies under 2 or more debuffs. So again, booking this is we have an increase in the debuff chance and also decreasing the cooldown a bit. A3 is Do or Do Not with a cooldown of 6 turns. This one is a revive. So it revives a dead ally with 50% HP and fills their turn meter by 50%. Also places the perfect veil and block debuffs on them for 2 turns. Says if no allies are dead, grants an extra turn. So that's nice. Like, this isn't a waste here. Either the idea is Yoda is going to do a revive. It's a single revive, right? Doesn't look like an AoE revive. It's a single target revive. And if no one is dead, then he gets an extra turn. And we could book that down by 1 on the cooldown. And his passive. So the passive for him says the Force is with him. And his passive is whenever an enemy places a debuff on an ally, has a 50% chance to remove 1 random debuff and heal that ally by 10%. Also increases resistance of all allies by 50%. So making that his passive. And his aura is increases ally resistance in all battles by 60. So I'd love to know what you guys think of this kit. And then they kind of did like a little, playstyle meta fit, like where AI imagines he would fit in. So they said Master Yoda could be a versatile support champion ideal for arena defense, Doom Tower, and also in faction wars. His turn meter control and AoE debuffs provide crowd control PvP, while his unique revive mechanism and resistant aura offer sustainability and longer PvE content, probably why they're thinking like Doom Tower faction wars. His aesthetics would echo the high elf design with flowing robes, a staff, glowing green energy effects. His face would be aged serene and unmistakably wise. So love to know what do you guys think of this design? Do you think that AI nailed it with Yoda? What do you guys think about that? Okay, so that's Master Yoda. Now we're headed on to Emperor Palpatine. I thought this one was pretty fun too, and I'd love to know what you guys think of this one. So same thing, I asked about Emperor Palpatine if he was going to be a champion in Raid, what faction, what would the kit be, and try to stick to the branding. So for Emperor Palpatine, they said if he was going to be adapted to Raid, he would fit seamlessly to the Dark Elves or the Night Revenant, because those are both homes for sinister, powerful magic users and manipulative masterminds. However, Night Revenant fits best for Palpatine. It's the faction that represents ancient cults, dark magic, and manipulative control over life and death, which is very in line with the Sith Lord, who cheats death, controls galactic politics, and wields corrupting force powers. I think they nailed it. I think Night Revenant is a perfect faction for Emperor Palpatine. And look what they did too. So instead of calling him like Palpatine, Emperor Palpatine, anything like that in the game, they went with Darth Sidious. So they went with a Sith Lord name, and I love it too. I think that fits Night Revenant. And they have him as a Night Revenant Void. So they said magic, void affinity. We're probably thinking void. And he'd be more like a support debuffer legendary. And his tagline is, all who gain power are afraid to lose it. All right, so here we go for his kits. Let me know what you guys think. So far, I think this is pretty good for him. A1, they have unlimited power. So it's an AoE, attacks all enemies with a 50% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense, and enemies under stun take an extra hit. I think that fits. That's probably like the lightning ability, right? And then, it says upgrade here, but I'm pretty sure it means like booking. So we can have damage increase, and also the buff debuff chance percentages increase as well. A2 is called Manipulate the Senates with a 4-turn cooldown. So this is a single target. It transfers all debuffs from allies to the target. It then steals all buffs from the target and distributes a random buff to each ally. If the target is under fear, True Fear places a block buff for 2 turns instead. And then you can also book that to a cooldown, decrease the cooldown on it, or a buff transfer chance as well. A3 is Order 66. Oh, my heart. This has a 6-turn cooldown. So this one places a True Fear debuff on all enemies. This is an AoE for 1 turn. Then places a 25% weaken on all enemies for 2 turns. If any enemies are under stun, sleep, or True Fear, instantly activates their debuffs and extends their duration by 1. So instantly activating debuffs, we're talking about like HP burns, poisons, things like that, right? And we can also decrease the cooldown. Now his passive is we have the dark side of the force. Each time an enemy receives a debuff, has a 30% chance to place a leech debuff for 1 turn. And whenever an ally dies, places a shield equal to 30% of his max HP and all remaining allies for 2 turns. Seems a bit OP, huh? And then we have here is his aura. It increases ally crit in all battles by 19%. And they did give us a little lore snippet too. So they said for Emperor Palpatine, Darth Sidious, a mysterious figure from a realm beyond Teleria. Darth Sidious arrived not through time, but through manipulation of space and will. Whispered among the Night Revenant cults as the Eternal Shadow. His command for forbidden energies makes even the most devoted necromancers bow in fear. I'd love to know what you guys think. I think the artwork was spot on, and I really enjoyed the kits that they did for Yoda and for Palpatine. I would love to know what you guys think. Make sure you guys drop me some comments down below. I hope you're enjoying this series. Like I said, next week we're going to wrap it up, and what I think we're going to end up doing is I have Mando Grogu and a similar dynamic as Ultimate Death Knight and Mr. Nibbles and Ahsoka Tano. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like this video, and check it out. And like I said, I think we're going to continue on this series for a bit with some other fun series. Like I said, I was either thinking maybe like Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, World of Warcraft. Like we have a bunch of things we can do. But yeah, drop me some comments down below on, what kind of collab reimagined would you love to see. And guys, thanks for watching.